Overhanging Western Europe, the French Alps represent an important cultural and natural heritage. Thanks to its habitat diversity, these mountains are home to various emblematic species such as the bearded vulture, the chamois, and the ibex. Traditional human activities are also part of the mountain's heritage. In the Bargy Mountains in Haute-Savoie, the reblochon is a famous symbol of alpine food. Its production is an important regional economic concern. Recently, these alpine emblems have been impacted by a disease in the Bargy Mountains, brucellosis. It is causing several economic, sanitary, and environmental issues. Consequently, some drastic measures have been used to eradicate it.
Brucellosis is a bacterial disease that mainly affects wild ungulates and domestic animals, especially livestock herds. In animals, the disease can manifest itself as arthritis or can cause abortions. When there is no abortion, the bacteria can pass into the milk and can contaminate the young. This disease is a zoonosis. It can pass from animals to humans. It can cause an undulant fever or a form of arthritis, with severe secondary effects, paralysis or even mortality.
Oui, je connais bien parce qu'en plus je l'ai eu étant jeune. Et ça se traduit par des fièvres, donc c'est affreux. Là, vous comprenez votre douleur.
Brucellosis was supposed to have been eradicated in France since 2005. But in 2012, a young boy contracted brucellosis after eating unpasteurized products. A few weeks later, a cow was found to be a carrier of brucellosis. The problem is, when a cow is declared positive, the law requires to kill the whole herd to get rid of brucellosis in a relatively confined environment. Farmers are frightened by the idea of a potential contamination of their livestock.
Morally, it is complicated. Losing all your work tools and starting again afterwards, it is difficult.
Brucellosis has affected the regional economy. Indeed, if cows are affected, all the industry is affected, and France could lose its brucellosis-free status.
Dès qu'il y a ce qu'on appelle une crise sanitaire,
sanitary crisis impact selling directly. If the disease affects reblochon, all the reblochon and raw milk production chain will be impacted.
Totalité des reblochons.
So, each cheese has to be tested, which is expensive and may reduce exportations because of a breach of confidence.
Ça peut avoir des conséquences.
If Haute-Savoie is not brucellosis-free, the economic consequences could be significant. So for farmers, it's really dangerous, even if clinically or medically it looks benign for their herds.
Ce qui paraît un peu bénin.
However, brucellosis was also detected in Bargy ibexes, which might be the origin of the disease. During the pasture period indeed, cattle and ibexes are said to come into contact, allowing the disease to be transmitted.
Abortions induced by brucellosis on ibexes created vulvar discharge on the grass, which is grazed by cows.
Moreover, the risk of transmission is not so high because females climb up inaccessible rocky chains to give birth.
On est sur un cas.
The transmission risk of brucellosis is extremely low. It is an extremely isolated sporadic case.
Est quasi nul.
Despite this low risk, in 2013, the departmental prefect decided to kill off all ibexes, even though it's a protected and reintroduced species. This first decision was to kill all the ibexes, whether they were ill or not. Unfortunately, this measure failed because the targeted ibexes were not totally killed. So, the negative ones could be contaminated the following year because they reproduce with contaminated animals and there wouldn't be a healthy core anymore.
Moreover, culling ibexes has a negative impact on local activities, especially ecotourism, which attracts a lot of people who want to see the emblematic animals of these mountains.
Mais l'été, j'ai volontairement...
Last summer, I offered alternative hikes in other mountains to my clients because I wanted to be sure that we could see animals, especially ibexes.
From our professional point of view, culling all the ibexes is like removing our working tools.
Another problem is that the first decision to cull off ibexes was made by non-scientists.
Things are not always done the way they should because no test was done. It would have been a huge database for scientists, but instead of that, dead ibexes were taken directly to the slaughterhouse with no prior biological analysis. So, in 2012, basically 230 ibexes were killed in 3 days.
In addition, the inhabitants were not all aware of this measure or of why it was taken.
Les opérations de gestion sur les bouquetins, les populations de bouquetins, est-ce que vous en avez entendu parler?
Oui. Non. Non.
Oui, comme tout le monde, oui. Bah oui, ce qui était suggéré, je crois, c'était d'abattre tout ce qui était malade.
C'est une méthode barbare.
Je sais qu'il parlait de tout supprimer et puis de réimplanter des bouquetins, mais est-ce qu'on est pour, est-ce qu'on est contre?
Bah pas informé du tout en fait, puisque la seule information c'était de bouche à oreille. On se demande même si on n'a pas mis un peu le couvercle sur les informations. C'est-à-dire qu'on avait un peu tous l'impression qu'il fallait justement pas trop en savoir.
Because of all this confusion, this management decision is highly polemical and not well accepted by most locals. That's why, in 2014, experts were mandated by associations to give their recommendations. After a one-year study, they were able to offer a new solution which excludes non-selective culling.
Along with the expert research and because brucellosis is an issue, culling was done differently. Ibexes were anesthetized to test if they were ill. People in charge of culling shot the positive ones and marked the negative ones, so they would constitute a healthy core. Then, the government made an official decision based on the sanitary experts' conclusions.
Et en 2016,
In May 2016, the Ministers of Agriculture and Ecology co-signed a guidance letter to the departmental prefect which indicates the obligation to cull only positive animals. However, scientists are recommending the study of a vaccination protocol and monitoring over several years. This is what we are supporting.
et que nous soutenons.
The return of brucellosis is a real matter, threatening farmers' activity. Consequently, ibexes are culled. Culling this protected species is highly polemical. Politicians, lobbyists, sanitary regulation, and ecologists are spurring the debate.
But it is not over yet. The ministerial decision could be threatened. Indeed, last summer, the National Federation of Farmers and local politicians asked the president permission to start massive culling again, and he agreed. The future of the emblematic ibex in the Bargy remains, unfortunately, uncertain.